Welcome to EX-Plorers, episode 73, where we're in the studio again with Blue the cat and Crystal.
That's it? I don't get a Crystal, the terrible ex-wife, Crystal, the ex in my EX-Plorers.
See, I just got her to introduce herself.
Happy to be here. So today we're going to turn the tables and I'm going to ask you questions about what it's life and the like of an entrepreneur and running a company and your perspective from the chairman seat.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, I turned the tables last time and interviewed you with some questions and got a lot of great content, some really quality answers. And so...
yeah, and it was fun because it made me think
see how I
about
do.
things in a different perspective.
And I haven't looked, so I don't know what your questions are. And I didn't let you look, so it's only fair.
It's only fair. But before we begin, do you want to give any updates on the markets? I know they're not doing super great right now.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of back and forth in Iran. They signed an MOU. Now they're basically at war again. The Strait of Hormuz is open. It's not open. It's open. It's not open. I don't know what to believe, but I think ships are transiting, and gold and silver are doing what they've been doing this year. And when the war heats up, they sell off. And when the war cools down, they go up. And then there's also a hawkish Fed slant right now where people think that rates could potentially rise this year, and the Fed's indicated they may be raising rates this year, which is bearish for gold, and that's weighed on gold and silver. But on the flip side, I think a lot of analysts are thinking that the Fed will actually end up cutting. So
we don't know.
we don't know. But gold is still trading above $4,000 an ounce as of filming. It's tenuous. It could drop below back into the 30. I could see as low as 3,600 still. Silver is still treading water around the 60 mark.
Yep.
As low as the mid 50s and as high as 70. So we're kind of treading water there. Copper is still doing very well.
Yeah.
Copper's still solidly above $6 a pound, and it's holding in very well. There's a lot of activity in copper, a lot of interest. On the other critical minerals, things have cooled in terms of a lot of the hype around antimony and tungsten and other critical minerals, rare earths, things like that.
Yeah.
Things have cooled, but there's still a lot of interest, a lot of federal grants, a lot of money being spent, a lot of DoD interest in those things. The DoD has announced some partnerships to allow processing of different critical minerals on military bases.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, and they already have a few contracts lined up.
Like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Including one in Utah.
Out in the Dugways, is that right? Yeah.
Well, Tooele.
Yeah.
Tooele Test Range.
Right.
Yeah, they want to create a pilot scale plant. So, yeah, the industry is always frustrating. Because, you know, we talk about how it's bullish and it's a multi-decade bullish commodity cycle and we're going into it and everything's getting exciting.
Right.
And then like any big long-term cycle, there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of bouncing around. And so...
I mean, we did anticipate that, though.
We did, but it's always frustrating.
No,
It's
for
human
sure.
nature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you want it to be like a nice, steady rise.
Well,
But
I want to know how to hire and staff for it. I want to know, you know, what to tell our clients to expect in terms of timelines and things. Like, we've been telling people for a long time that drill rigs are booked out a year, but, you know, with things slowing down, is that still the case? They're getting busier. What's going on?
I mean, the few drilling companies I've talked to, they're all booked out.
And it's also summer, so a lot of the conference hype and different things has cooled down. There's a lot of field work going on right now. There's a lot of actual work and less focus on the releases and things.
It's field season.
Yeah.
This is the time to gather the data.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's chugging along. I mean, nothing's changed since we last really discussed it. It's just still bouncing along.
Yeah.
It hasn't broken out to the upside or the downside. And the only thing that's really been interesting is just more of what's going on in Iran. And then Senator Lindsey Graham died on Saturday, who was a classic war hawk. And so you could actually arguably view that as bearish for metals. but the governor appointed his sister to take his place.
Saw that. Thought that was interesting.
Yep. Yep. And then Mitch McConnell, dead or not. There's lots of conspiracy theories out there that he's actually dead and they're pretending he's alive still.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he was in the hospital for pneumonia, is that right?
Well, that's what he said. So for like a month, they never said what he was in for, what actually happened.
Oh.
And
I like him. He's spicy.
Yeah, I mean, he's too old to be spicy now.
Well, yeah, right.
I don't appreciate that we're propping up corpses.
No, I mean that is a huge issue.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, cognitive decline is real, and there's pleney of.
I mean, there's a
young,
minimum for
people
office.
who
There
can-
should be a maximum age
Right.
limit for office. No, I completely
Right.
agree. Yeah.
Right, but yeah. So he published a picture with a newspaper a couple of days ago, and people are already picking it apart and saying it's AI generated and different things. So.
Man, we live in a wild time.
Yeah.
Well, let's dig into that. So I was going to start with the early days, but now I'm actually kind of curious to start with the future. So with the changing of the markets and the whole dynamics with the federal government getting involved in minerals and the public starting a little bit to realize that minerals are important, how in your mind do you view exploration in the long term?
Yeah, so define long term.
10 to 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. 'cause
And
it's-
next 2 to 3 political cycles, presidential cycles.
Everything swings in pendulums back and forth. And it's an ancient thing, and it rules human behavior and economics and societies and culture and everything else. Like there's this pendulum swing. It's the whole yin and yang concept of balance. Like things find their balance eventually. They swing back and forth. So exploration, we have these big periods of underinvestment, followed by these big periods of overinvestment, followed by these big periods of underinvestment. So we're shifting now from this big period of underinvestment into, we're still, I mean, as a percentage of normal, we're still very underinvested, but we're swinging back towards, in the next 10 to 15 years, we'll be in that overinvested
Now, is this
period.
on a global scale or is
Yeah.
this local?
On
Global scale. Okay.
Yeah, it's all global. Even, I mean, in back to the pendulum, like right now we're swinging towards nationalism. We went to this extreme globalism, and now we're swinging towards more nationalism, and then the pendulum will eventually swing back towards globalism. So I think about mining still very globally, even though there's bifurcated markets and this east-west thing, and there's dynamics there. It's still a very global industry.
Well, the prices are controlled globally.
Well, and think about the projects we're working on. They may be US-based projects, but they're funded from all over the world.
Right.
And so the supply chain is still...
Yeah, if you look
Very-
at our pipeline, I think a very small percentage of them are funded within the U.S.
domestically, mostly
Yeah.
just our aggregate stuff.
For sure.
And even the big aggregate producers are all European.
Well, that's true. Because I
Yep.
do tend to think of aggregates as a domestic market.
Yeah,
more
well,
local.
and it is when you think of like Vulcan, Martin Marietta, and Granite, and some of those. But like the big cement companies are all European. CRH is European. Loest, now Martin Marietta, Loest USA, which will now be Martin Marietta USA, was a Belgian company. So we're heading back towards more investment. So you'll see, even though it's kind of a very slow moving process, in 10 to 15 years, things I think will really be booming in exploration. But it's going to be really focused in things like copper, gold, silver.
The big,
Some of the
stable-
critical minerals I could see going back to China dominance
Yeah.
eventually.
Well, there's just not enough of a market for them.
Because they're doing a lot of the downstream processing and everything. And
Yeah.
moving an entire supply chain is difficult as it sounds.
Oh, there's
And there's not the commitment. There's
Yeah.
a very short-term commitment, and the federal government's like, we're going to toss money at different things. And I'm seeing it going to a lot of people who are just promoters and not serious projects.
Oh, for sure. I feel like we're in a knee-jerk reaction right now. So it's driving all of the nice buzzwords, and that's where that quick money is coming in. But I don't feel like that's any type of stability in the long term. That's going to go away. I mean, we've seen that before.
Right, and there's always opportunists who are close to the trough and they're ready to jump on it and get that money, and that's what they do.
Oh, for sure.
But a lot of the long-term players, particularly in copper, have been positioned for a long time. They've been in it for 10 years. They're already building up portfolios and working on projects and looking even at conceptual deposits instead of like actually just brownfield or following surface things. Are actually looking at deeper targets. They're looking at geophysics, things like that. But also on a macro scale from there, we have this digital, everything swung from very physical, industrial revolution, everything to this completely digital world where we've got AI and crypto and digital ecosystems and all this stuff. Now I think I see that pendulum swinging back towards we actually need a bunch of physical things in order to make these things work. On one hand, and then on the other hand, I see a shift in what people actually start to value, because AI is going to just put so much slop on the web.
Already has.
That people are going to start to value in-person relationships more. They're going to value face-to-face conferences. They're going to value going to a play or going to see a stand-up comedian or going to watch a live orchestra versus just seeing things online, because it's just going to be so saturated that you can't tell what's real, you can't tell what's fake, and the novelty is going to wear off quickly. And so there's going to be a big value towards, like we kind of saw peak in digital with like NFTs, where people are paying like literally millions of dollars for pixelated artwork.
That I never understood.
And then it's going to swing the other way to where people are going to want to hold a gold bar or a tungsten cube or own some physical things again. So we're seeing all these different things play out, but they're all heading in the same direction. I'm very bullish on exploration and mining for the next 10 to 15 years, particularly in copper, but also in precious metals and other things.
So what does that mean for Burgex in your view?
Oh, and that's where I have the long-term view, and it's good, and I'm very confident in it.
But the short-term pain?
But the short-term pain is just brutal, because like I staff up, we get ready because we're like, things are heating up. We have, like 96 new project inquiries this month, and it's like, okay, well, we need to staff up and get everybody busy, and then like everything just cools and you got to sit around and wait.
Well, that's not true. Our team is quite busy.
Right, and it gives time for training and stuff. But particular departments like aggregates and stuff is just, even though there's huge M&A deals and huge stuff going on, and we have a great reputation, great services, it's just very slow sales pipeline, slow to get
that one has
in.
taken us by surprise this year of aggregates slowing down, but then exploration has been leading the charge throughout the year.
But in the meantime, nationally, aggregate prices are up 56% since 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, so record margins, record profits for all these guys. So they should be investing in finding new deposits and doing lots of other things, but they're really just playing M&A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it's easier just to buy things that are already permitted,
Well, and it's similar to what I'm complaining about with like long-term vision versus short-term cycles. That's a quick way to solve your short-term stuff. Mm-hmm. And the long-term as well. Like, how many analysts are going to look at the Martin Marietta Loest deal and go, Loest is going to be worth way less in 15 years? Like, there's no way. The stuff they supply is still going to be needed. It's not going away.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's valuable. There's not more of it. There's not more high-quality limestone just popping up everywhere. It's a limited supply.
It is a finite resource at the end of the day. All right, well, let's go back to the beginning then. I feel like the future is dragging you down a little bit at the present moment.
I'm just frustrated at the present moment. That's all.
These things are temporary.
It's acute, right? I just looked at the project pipeline yesterday. I'm just frustrated by how slowly things convert when
I get frustrated at the same things. It's like, because we have like a vision of like, hey, let's go, and then it's like, why aren't things going fast enough? And it's like, sometimes you just got to be patient and then do other things in the meantime. So looking back, for you, what was the real reason why you wanted to start your own exploration company or abandoned mine services?
So I wanted to be outside. I had a job just working inside grocery stores, running the meat shop, assistant manager of the meat shop, cutting meat in a cooler in the dark all day. There were no windows, and I worked in there every day, 8 hours, 12 hours, depending on shifts and stuff. And I wanted to be outside, and I wanted to not be told what to do all the time. I was chronically 5 minutes late for work every day because I had a bit of a commute.
I remember that.
And which is silly if you think about it. Like, there's no reason I couldn't have fixed that. That should be an easy thing for me to fix.
Yeah.
But I was chronically 5 minutes late every day. And I remember getting written up. And really my first write-up ever. And I was like the model guy, worked hard, pulled my weight.
Stayed extra.
I'd skip breaks.
You didn't have a smoke break?
Yeah, I'd clock out and stay and work so that we hit our hours and got everything done. And so that was kind of the final straw where it was like, you know what, for something that petty, like, what's the real value here?
That really irked me.
Yeah, and then I was like, I'm gonna quit and go start my own thing. And they're like, okay, cool, have fun. And it's like just super replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how those industries are, and everyone is. Like, I'm super replaceable now. Like, it doesn't really change. There's always somebody who can do what you do.
No, but it is nice to feel valued at your place of work. I mean, you're spending most of your day there.
Right. And I know, retail and grocery and things like that, like, there's a high turnover.
Sure.
And so it's not really, doesn't foster a long-term camaraderie and stuff. Like, I mean, we went through hundreds of people, even in the 5 years I was there. But it's still, you don't really feel valued. So that, and then just, I always wanted to have my own business and do my own thing ever since I was a kid. And I definitely dabbled. I did the thing that every 14-year-old boy does in the suburbs, and I started a lawn care business. And we mowed lawns for people, did fertilizing and trimming and the hedges and stuff.
Are you still in business? Because I could use one.
Yeah, I know. Well, and those kids don't exist anymore. I don't know if we're in the wrong neighborhood or what, but when we first moved in, there was a kid who came and knocked on our door and said, hey, do you want somebody to take care of your lawn? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he lasted like 2 years till he went off to college, and then nobody else has come around. I get 100 people who want to spray for bugs or trim the trees, but nobody who wants to do lawn care. But anyway, so that was it. I wanted the freedom. I wanted to be outside. And really, I didn't have any aspirations to start a big business or hire a bunch of people or do any of that. I just wanted to be able to get by. But because it was so hard and we struggled so much to make ends meet, then it became more about creating something sustainable where it would relieve the stress of having to work so much. But it's like the hedonic treadmill we've talked about before. There's always something.
Right.
It's never enough. Like, you can have the perfect job or the perfect business that pays you the perfect amount, and human nature is you're gonna either be dissatisfied with it or intentionally mess it up to give you something else to fix.
Yeah, so it's more about enjoying the journey.
Right.
Instead of the destination.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on that one myself, because that is a ongoing thing of you having to realize of like, it's not about where you're getting to, it's about here right now.
Yep.
It is okay.
Yeah, and that's life. I mean, all of life is about the journey because there's no real destination and no real goal other than just
Dying.
live it. Yeah. Yeah, dying's the destination.
Dying's the destination. That's a guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great gift. Life would truly be meaningless if death didn't come at the end of it.
Oh man, could you imagine?
Yeah, it would be, you just waste all of your time because it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't
Nothing
matter.
would matter.
Nothing would matter.
But I mean, it's like the memento mori and the whole concept of like contemplating death. So you'll see in a lot of old art, and particularly Italian art, they would paint like a skull into the picture somewhere, and it's a memento mori, which means basically remember death, or remember there'll be death, because it makes your life that much more rich and vibrant if you realize that it's going to end.
Yeah, Sam Harris has a really good quote on that of just to simplify, just remembering that there will always be a last time.
Right.
There will be the one last time, and just remember that. And that, to me, that just makes me appreciate things more and more, because I know like there will be a time where it's the last time.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think was one of the hardest parts about the early years that most people probably don't understand or know about?
I think one of the hardest things that I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs realize in like a B2B business is it can take a really long time to get paid. When you're a consumer and just a regular 9-to-5er, you get paid every 2 weeks. Or some jobs pay daily.
Yeah.
Like you get paid all the time, and it's like clockwork. Like,
Yep.
yes, occasionally maybe you worked at a job where you missed payroll or the company went bankrupt, or you work for the government and there's a shutdown or something, you don't get paid, but generally you get paid pretty quickly. In B2B business, I never realized, and no one ever told me, but like we did our very first job for a client and we sent them an invoice and expected to get paid promptly, and it took them like 3 months to pay us.
With like constant reminders.
Yeah, our first job. And then since then, like,
yeah,
now we're big enough and we understand it enough that there's cash flow and enough clients and different things and momentum that it covers. But
yeah,
even still, some clients take 6 months to pay.
Yeah, that's the rarity. No, that's such a good point, because sometimes you have to look at the term sheet and you're like, oh, this guy is 45 days out. You're like, ooh, okay, so we got to bake that into our forecast to make sure that, because we're still obligated to pay our team, whether or not we get paid immediately.
Well, and there's hard expenses we carry on all of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep, and we carry those hard expenses, whether it's rental trucks and travel fees, or paying for drilling and paying subcontractors and paying lab fees, and sometimes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of fees that we carry until we get paid. But in the early days, you send out a $5,000 invoice and our burn rate, is $2,500 a month at the time, because, mortgage,
a little bit of food,
food, gas, utilities, like
I'd take that
basic
overhead
stuff.
again.
Yeah, and then you're like 2 months worth of your living expenses is tied up in one invoice.
Yeah.
And you call them and they're like, oh, we don't have the money, or we don't cut checks till the 5th or whatever, and you're like, and if you're living invoice to invoice like that,
no, it was very stressful.
then it's super hard. So that was something early that I didn't realize that I realize now. And obviously, as the clients get bigger, we always get paid, but the timeline's up to their terms.
Yeah, well, and that's when we realized we got to start doing 50% upfront deposits instead of carrying everything at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that helps a lot. And nobody complains about that because it's just standard in the business.
Right. And if people do complain, they're either not from the industry or they don't have the money.
Right. And then we don't want to work with them anyway.
Right.
But we have the luxury of doing that now.
We have the luxury of doing that now, indeed.
Yeah.
So did you ever have a moment in the early days, or even now, of thinking like, this just might not work?
Yeah. I mean, when I get frustrated I do what a lot of entrepreneurs do, and I think about just selling and starting something different. Like just sell it all.
Flipping over the table and saying, I'm out.
Start something different. Take a month off, not do anything, go back and do something different.
Right.
And I'm an entrepreneur, so I have 100 ideas and things that I could do. But the thing is the grass is always greener. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as I sell it and go start something else, within maybe it's a day, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 6 months or a year, but I'm going to stop and go, oh, I wish I still had Burgex.
Right.
Or this is actually harder, or it's just as hard.
It's always hard.
So that's yeah, I think that. But then mostly, in Burgex, because we've had so many ups and downs and so many points of almost failure, which is really common in any business. If you've been in business for 15 years, you've almost failed multiple times. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe almost monthly for a long time, getting through it. And so I've had that thought tons of times, like maybe this is going to work out. Like if this doesn't go or this doesn't go or somebody key quits and I'm like, oh, now we got to backfill for this or a lawsuit pops up and you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. This is terrible. Like there's tons of times I've had that thought.
We've done all of those things and what? We'll survive.
Yeah, you get kicked in the teeth all the time, even as the chairman.
You getting kicked in the teeth right now?
No, today and in general lately, it's just the everyday frustrations.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is I quit caffeine again for like the 100th time. Oof. And I always go through a period in the first couple weeks of just general irritability. My tolerance for just BS drops quite a bit.
Fair enough.
So I'm pushing through that. And I quit a couple of months ago and I didn't ever really get back onto a heavy habit. I just got to where I was drinking like 50 to 100 milligrams a day for a few days, or like every other day, every third day. But I'm sensitive to caffeine these days. So I'm either withdrawn or getting over it. So I just decided to get off that roller coaster. So now I'm just feeling bogged down by a bunch of minor annoyances.
Good, let's ask you more questions.
Yeah.
Getting some spicy answers today. Man, some of these questions I thought were fun, but now I'm like, maybe we needed more peppy ones. Let's see here.
But starting off with the macro stuff put a weird bend on it because the macro stuff gold was down 2% yesterday. It's up 2% today.
Yeah, I don't look at the day-to-day.
We're just in the chop.
I honestly just look at it when it's like, ooh, it's Costco has it.
Yeah.
How much they selling it for today?
Yeah.
All right, that's about the same price it was last month. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That's fun. Yeah, some of these questions are going to be more on the darker side of life, but you know what? That's okay. I am curious though. What did we do early on because we had no money that actually made us better later?
Surprisingly, we bought our first house, and this was in 2009. So the market had crashed, and houses were cheaper, and they had the first-time home buyer credit and stuff. And we bought from a husband-wife team where she was the realtor and he was the mortgage broker. And I don't recommend that. It's nice to have independent people who are doing it with independent views and advice.
They were a little biased.
Yeah, because basically we ended up with a house that was the maximum of what we could afford as far as the mortgage. But what they don't tell you when you buy a house is that there's all sorts of upkeep and utilities and other expenses.
Maintenance is a real thing.
It's a real thing. And so you need to have a significant budget for that. Like I would say, take what you're going to pay in your mortgage, add 15%, and that's going to just be your fund for
overhead
maintenance
costs
and overhead and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe not even utilities. Like add another 10%. Say 25%.
Not even utilities.
Say add another 25% for upkeep and maintenance. Obviously, depending on the size of your house and the condition and stuff. But one of the things we did is we moved into that house and the air conditioner never worked.
No, not
Because we
once.
bought it in the winter and the home inspector didn't test it because it was cold and we didn't know that it never worked. And because we were so poor starting the business and couldn't afford it, we never fixed our air conditioner. And so we lived in that house for like 5 or 6 years with no air conditioner in the summer. It made us way tougher for field work because we were acclimatized to sleeping at like 80 degrees or 85
We did
degrees.
get the window unit, which helped a lot.
Which helped a lot. But generally, like the house would be in the 80s.
The house was in the 80s during
sometimes
the day.
up into the 90s. So we got used to just being tough.
Yeah.
And that helped.
That's a good point because our first real field program was in Arizona in the summer.
Staking.
In July.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we were tougher, a lot tougher than if we were used to just being at 68 degrees all the time.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I would have died.
That's something we did
Yeah.
early that we couldn't afford that ended up working out better.
What was harder for you to learn? Sales, operations, leadership, or people?
People. And that ties in with leadership. But I can be a natural leader and people will follow me. But I'm the kind of leader who would be better in like the military than a business or an organization.
You were more of a, I'm going to tell you once and leave it and expect it to be done type of guy.
Yeah, and so like the military would be great. I just give orders, follow me. Like I'll do the hard stuff. I'll go in the trenches. I'll do it myself. I'm not afraid to do that. I don't expect anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself and won't do myself. Like if I tell somebody to go clean the toilets, it's because I've cleaned the toilets. And if they won't clean the toilets, then I'll clean the toilets. But I have high expectations. And so on the people side, like if they're not willing to put in the hard work and do the hard things, I have very little tolerance.
Or even just ask questions.
Right. I just don't have a lot of tolerance. I have high expectations. And so the people side has been hard. Like I have always deferred to you and to counsel on a lot of HR decision stuff. But if it was solely up to me, like I would have fired everyone 10 times by now. Just for those reasons, like not being tough, not paying attention, just not doing it the way I would do it. And so a lot of good leadership is like embracing that like 80% rule. Like if somebody can do the job that I would do and do it 80% as well as I would, that's good enough. It's just unfortunately, I think in modern days and with a lot of what's going on, particularly with younger people now, 80% may not cut it anymore. You got to be like 60%. If they do it 60% as well as I would, that's probably okay.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's us to set the standard and we set the tone. We're the bosses. So it's up to us. I mean, if we want to accept that, fine, go for it. But it's up to us to ultimately decide.
Right.
My awesome executive assistant told me that the other day. She's like, you set the tone.
Right.
I mean, she didn't say that exactly, but she's like, it's you're responsible for ultimately holding people accountable. And it's like,
right.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So if we let that type of behavior into our organization, then that's on us.
Right.
They might come to us with that type, but it's up to us to be like, hey, you're gonna push them up or push them out.
Right.
So what's been the hardest thing for you to delegate? And you can't say everything.
So there's a lot of things that have been hard, but I've managed to delegate out almost everything. But now, funny enough, so I have a more serious answer and a funny answer. Funny is booking my travel arrangements because they always get messed up.
Yeah.
Like I end up with we'll all go somewhere as a group. We'll have like 10 people or 8 people go to a trade show and check into the hotel and I'll get the janitor's closet. and everyone else has a great room and they're bragging about the penthouse or whatever, the room with the window and all this stuff, and I'll literally get like the worst room.
I don't know how that happens, but it has happened a few times.
Yeah, we went to a show earlier this year and I literally like had the worst room. It was like a college dorm. Like the mattress was this thick. There was no Wi-Fi. They just didn't have any Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi.
Where was this?
Vegas.
Oh, jeez.
There were like, definitely cockroaches.
Ooh.
It smelled really bad. Like somebody had smoked in there for like 50 years. And then previously, probably to the people who bought it and rented it out. But
oh, Lord.
yeah, so it's been hard to delegate travel arrangements because things are just never quite done right. And so that's something I still prefer to do. Mm-hmm. Even though that's like should be the easiest and best thing to delegate right off the bat. Like that one's been hard because it gets messed up. And then the other thing that I struggle with is if I start a project, and I still do, even as chairman, I still start and run some projects. Mm-hmm. I think some of that is because I don't trust the team to do it right, or they're afraid to do it because they're like, oh, I've never done it before, I'm afraid to do it. And I'm not afraid to do new things, not at all. I'll do them. I'll figure out how to do them. I have a very, I can learn how to do anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I can learn how to do it. I may not be the best at it, and I may not be good at it ever, but I can learn how to do it. If I start a project and I do it, and then I hand it off to somebody else, I have a really hard time with that.
Yeah.
And it's back to that 80%. I expect them to do it at least 80% as well as I was doing it. And if they come in at less than that, I get really frustrated. Especially if it's a project that I ran and I worked with the client and I handed it off carefully. I get really frustrated if the ball gets dropped.
Yeah, sometimes it needs a little extra hand holding, which can be, it's like you don't want to overstep,
right.
But sometimes you just don't want things to get dropped and,
right.
Because we have, you and I have worked our butts off to keep a good reputation.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't take much to ruin it.
Right.
Or at least, make people upset at you, and then you got to go on damage control. So,
oh, yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I get it. No, I absolutely get it. Let's take this on a more personal note, because that's always fun. Let's talk about the X in mind, EX-Plorers. So what has been the biggest advantage of building Burgex together even after our divorce?
So we work really well together in two different ways. One, we communicate really well. You and I have never had a serious fight. We've had some really strong disagreements and we've been pretty upset at each other, but we've never had a serious fight. Like, I don't often get in a disagreement with you where I get so flooded and overwhelmed that I have to leave the room or leave it to the next day or 2 days out. We communicate very well. You and I can sit down, we can take our feelings, put them aside, and have a conversation. That's extremely rare. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I took it for granted for a long time.
So did I.
And now in my relationship with Amanda, I've tried for 12 years now to get to that point, and we just can't do it. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of times we have discussions and disagreements and stuff that take 4 or 5 days to get through.
Wow. Because
we can't just sit down and do it. So the communication is one. The second side of it is we have complementary strengths and weaknesses, which is really good. You enjoy the people part of it. And you do the one-on-ones and you understand the people and you dive into the nuance. And that works really well. And on the flip side, I have the big picture and I look at what's going on and what's coming down the road. And so we work really well in that way. And so the complementary strengths, but I think the big one is just the communication, which is why we're still able to work together.
Right.
is because of that. Like if you can do terrible things to another person, but if you can communicate well, then you can get through it. But if you can't communicate well, then all the emotions get involved and it just escalates from there. And
Right.
because you break down a lot of relationships.
Well, it's not even
where-
communicate, it's listening too. It's the other side of the story.
Right.
Yeah, because you got to communicate, you got to express yourself in a way, but the other person has to be willing to listen too.
And not defensively.
And not defensively.
That's where a lot
the
of trouble
taking the
happens.
emotions out and saying, I'm just going to listen to you and I'm going to give you the time to speak and then I'll take my turn.
Right.
But not like just, jumping into it because, yeah, definitely.
A lot of that's communication
Notice that.
styles too. Because like I was talking about, like if I'm talking to Amanda,
There's so many different communication styles.
her communication style, I have a hard time just sitting and listening to, because she'll flood me with details. And I'm like, and then I lose track of what we're even talking about. Like there's a lot of times I'll walk away because I'm not even sure what it's about anymore.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a few people who do that.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, give up.
Then you're like, I thought we were talking about this, but now somehow we're over here.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And-
what?
And that is like, everyone has different communication styles. They all fall into different general kind of buckets and preferred ways of communicating. But you and I have obviously the same or similar or compatible enough styles that's how we've been able to do all of it.
Yeah.
Build the business, navigate, divorce,
Yeah.
marriage,
Lawsuits.
lawsuits,
Yep.
all the other things.
All of it. What do we still disagree about most often?
People.
Yeah, that's true.
People.
Always people.
Yep.
Yep.
People and
It's your biggest asset and your biggest liability in business is
Yeah.
people.
yeah, I dream of having a business that has the same cash flow and margins that doesn't require any people.
Well, with AI, that's a very real possibility.
Yeah.
But in our industry, I think we're a little ways away from that.
Oh yeah.
So you'd have to start another.
Years and years. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, I like a lot of the people. Not all of them, but I like a lot of them.
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
No, we have good people. We really do. We're really fortunate to have a good team. But at the end of the day, they're still people just like us. They still make mistakes just
Well,
like
I
we
don't.
do.
That's the problem.
Oh, well, sorry.
I don't make any mistakes.
Excluding you, of course,
Right.
Master Chairman.
Right.
Right. Yes. All right, couple more questions, and we're going to wrap this up. What kind of person thrives at Burgex?
I think I described it. I mean, honestly, people who take ownership of their work,
Yeah.
work hard, they're not afraid to try new things and learn new things.
Yeah.
And they want to grow.
Yeah. Which is pretty much all of our core values right there.
Yep.
All in one.
Yep.
That's how you thrive.
Yep. I don't need order takers. I don't need somebody who's just clocking in and clocking out.
Don't need yes men.
Nope, don't. No, I need people who want to come in and take on challenges and get excited about their work and grow. Yep.
All right, last question.
Okay.
What's the best field vehicle we've ever owned?
I mean, honestly, I really like our old Toyota pickup, but I can't say it was the best
No, it
because
definitely wasn't
I
the best.
was so anxious every time we drove that thing that we were going to break down, because we did.
It only broke down twice, and once was in the driveway.
Right.
And I don't remember why it broke down then. I think it was a battery issue.
Yeah. It ran really well, but I was always nervous about it.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly, it would be a tie between Toyota Tundras, 2012 to 2015. I think maybe they're okay to like 2017. Toyota Tundras.
We just bought a 2017.
And we should probably buy like 10 and just keep them like lightly maintained and in good shape so we have field vehicles for the future.
I'll tell
'Cause
Chris that today.
I've heard the new ones are terrible. The engines are just garbage.
Yeah.
In the new ones.
Because they over torque them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Toyota Tundras, and then Honda Foremans. Most reliable, best field vehicles.
Absolutely. I
So-
mean, that's why we always buy them.
It was a game changer when we bought our first Toyota Tundra. Huge game changer because we went from our old truck,
Well, we had a
Old pickup
97
truck.
Chevy.
and then we went to the Chevy, the 97 Chevy, which was okay.
The Chevy
But it
1500.
had its issues. It broke down on us a few times too. Then we went to the Toyota Tundra. And that was like, wow, now we really have a nice, quality, reliable vehicle to work in.
Well, it was the peace of mind that we bought.
Exactly.
And it changed everything because we could go out with confidence of like, we'll come home.
Right.
I mean, we'll still bring all the supplies, but
Right. And then the Honda Foreman, huge game changer.
Yeah.
Having an ATV, being
the
able to get around.
ATVs were
Like,
great.
I know we keep buying all these side-by-sides and people like the side-by-sides, but they're just too big and bulky. I like just an ATV.
You know, the companies require it.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah. That's
They need a roll cage. They need the extra
Yep.
safety. Yeah.
I mean, and there's pros and cons to it. If you're hauling geologists around, they like them. We live in both worlds.
Right.
So,
And I've never taken them out, so maybe I'd like them more if I did.
yeah.
Yeah, I should. They're mine.
I know.
Cool. Well, I'm sorry about a little negative spin. I don't actually feel negative today. I just feel very neutral. Like I said, it's that there's just a lot of little things.
No, it was a very real conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the little things. Right now, I'm just feeling very much. I'm not stuck in the mud. I'm not sad or frustrated. I'm not losing, but I'm climbing up a hill. I'm climbing up a hill right now.
What
So.
else would we be doing?
Right. Well, sometimes you coast. Sometimes like things are great. Woo!
And then you go down the hill, then you're like, shit. Then you got to go up the hill, and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm just trudging up a
Yeah.
steady.
You're on the
steep
stair
hill.
stepper.
Yep.
Yeah. Building grit
Yep.
and endurance and all the things that we've talked about.
Yeah, because we're in a bull market. Things are picking up, but it's not translating to the bottom line, and that's frustrating.
It's not far away. Things are better than you might think.
Well, and maybe that's it too. I'm just not looking at the right data.
Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, well, we have a couple of guests scheduled for next time, so hopefully that all works out. I have a field trip scheduled that I'm super stoked about, so stay tuned. We have some exciting things coming down the pipeline, and
Guests and field trip. Yeah, I
and
mean, our
field
goal
trip.
this year is not to have too many office episodes in a row, or too many studio episodes in a row. So we pop into the studio, maybe we do 1 or 2 or maybe 3 in a row, and then we're back out again.
that's the goal.
We've been pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if any of you listening want to be a guest on our show, send us a message.
Yep, like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. We appreciate it. It's not why we do it, but it definitely helps. Thanks for watching. See you next time.